brothers and sisters. In the world of separation, there's an interesting cycle that repeats and repeats. Once you believe that you are separate, it won't take long before this arouses guilt. They're almost the same thing. Separation and guilt are inseparable. Whose fault is it that you are separate? Well, the ego will say it's your fault. And you will feel guilty. And the guilt is unbearable. It actually cannot be abided. And so the ego will attempt to get rid of the guilt in one of two ways. It will either project the guilt out as an attack and a judgment, hoping to be rid of the guilt that way. Or it will find someone that will bring back a reflection of them that makes them feel less guilty. And they'll love that person. So it leads to special hate and special love. Separation will always lead to guilt, which on some level will always lead to attack. Even when you love someone out of self-guilt, it's really self-hate, and you're hoping this person will talk you out of it. Around them, you may not feel so guilty, so you love them. The problem with attacking is that, number one, a thought never leaves its source. So the more you attack, you still have guilt in you. And worse, you're creating more separation. Ask yourself this. Have you ever felt like hugging someone right after you attack them? Probably not. So what you feel after the attack is more separation, which leads to more guilt, which leads to more attack. It's a very vicious cycle. And when you have a strong attraction to someone, it's in the hope that they can relieve you of your guilt by seeing the goodness in you that you can't see in yourself. Maybe they could talk you into thinking that you're okay. This one has a close friend. And at a time when she was needing a friend, there was a man who offered to be her friend. She had just lost her partner. And this man was kind to her and helped her with the funeral expenses, and not the expenses, but going to the funeral and making decisions. Anyway, at some point, this man appealed to her to help him financially because he was going to lose his house. And she lent him a great deal of money. She did this because she cared about him and because he was in trouble financially. And they had a document where he would pay it back over a period of time. It was a lot of money. He made a few payments, and then he stopped paying, and then he stopped communicating, and then he wasn't available. And by this time, she had moved away. She made several attempts to call, to see him, to text, but nothing was there. And over time, that separation led to guilt in her. She felt like, was I a fool? And then there was some attack. Was he just using me? Was he just taking advantage of me feeling vulnerable? Was he just being nice to me so he could get that money? And it made her doubt herself and doubt him. And she felt more and more separate and more guilty, and thus felt more and more attack thoughts and judgment thoughts towards him. Well, something happened recently. He contacted her and they had a long conversation. His life has gotten much more complicated in ways that make it pretty unlikely that he'll ever pay the money back. But what happened was they reconnected. She reaffirmed that her connection with him was real and based on more than money. And love was exchanged. And who knows, perhaps he'll pay the money back one day. But that's not really the issue. The issue is, by reconnecting, by getting in touch with the love that you are, that this other person is, you rise above your circumstances. This is what you can do to break the cycle. Be the Christ that you are. Be the love that you are. Love the people who may have wronged you. Connect with the people who seem different from you. Allow yourself to be the love that you wish to receive from others, and give that love, and trust that whatever you need will be provided for you. She felt such relief and such peace, even though the circumstances in terms of the money had probably not really changed very much. But there was a connection and an empathy and a kindness on both sides, and a settling back into the truth that we are all one and that we are all connected. And that was worth everything. Do what you can to stay connected to everyone in your life through love, not through judgment, but through love. It is its own reward, and it breaks the cycle that I referred to earlier. I love you, and I love being on this journey with you. I'll speak with you again soon.